Hello, folks. I'm Larry Kudlow. Welcome to our July 4th celebration show. Our big theme this year is restoring life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That phrase, and in fact the entire Declaration of Independence, unquestionably the most important document in the English language. Indeed, I think it's actually the most important document in world history, except perhaps the Bible. The Declaration of Independence was essentially a bill of attainder against the despotic King George III and Britain. I will quote, "When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth a separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect of the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation." Right here, I want to draw a parallel to today and emphasize the word separation. Now, Joe Biden is not exactly King George, but Uncle Joe's attempt at a radical woke transformation of American society and his big government socialism in the economy and the complete collapse of his extremist energy policies attempting to end fossil fuels, all this has generated a huge political and economic revolt in America. The backlash against Biden and his far-left progressivism, it reaches into virtually every nook and cranny of the country and its population. I believe what's happening today is that voters are planning to peacefully, through the midterm elections, to withhold the consent of the governed and institute a new government. In short, the cavalry is on the way. Our great democracy, launched by the founders, stemming from the Declaration of Independence, is working well. But make no mistake, there's a giant-sized revolution at work. A separation is coming, just as Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, James Madison, and the other authors of the Declaration envisioned 246 years ago. Then comes the most famous paragraph in the annals of democracy, a rallying cry for all ages, and I quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government." All right. Please note, the founders acknowledged the Creator endowed all men, and women too, with these unalienable rights. Also, the founders' clear view that governments derive their just power from the consent of the governed. So let us suggest a little pecking order, starting with the Creator, God, giving the power to the people, that is, the consent of the governed, and they, the people, tell the government what to do. The big government socialists today believe government is all-powerful. The people barely matter, except maybe a few lefty interest groups. And in the radical progressive world, there is no God, and indeed there is no religion either. And then comes the phrase, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I think it's my favorite total phrase. In all likelihood, this was coined by the English philosopher John Locke. And history suggests that he was a very good pal of Jefferson, Franklin, and Madison. The phrase actually coined by the libertarian Locke was no absolute power over the lives, liberties, and the estates of the people. Locke insisted on the rule of law and the sanctity of private property. He detested the idea that governments have absolute power. Now, Jefferson, a brilliant thinker and writer, was also a very clever marketing man. He knew how to sell a product, in this case, independence. So, I think for media purposes, he took out estates and put in pursuit of happiness. And it worked. The document sold like wildfire. It immediately jumped to #1 on the bestseller list for the 13 colonies. It has been the revolutionary rallying phrase for democracy crusaders ever since. Now, right now here in America, very few people feel confident about the outlook for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Most folks believe they are worse off than they were 18 months ago. Virtually every aspect of daily American life is in decline. Record inflation with skyrocketing gas and grocery prices, falling real wages, a looming recession, an overarching government that believes it's all-powerful with command and control regulatory statist authority. And all that seeks to control information, limit free speech, curtail religious freedom, keep parents out of schools, radicalize education around race, gender, and sexual identification, undermine law and order, defend criminals, not victims, attacks against revered institutions like the Supreme Court, declares war on businesses encompassing a radical green climate strategy that is in complete collapse at home and globally, mocks our traditional free enterprise economic system, spends, borrows, and prints money without a shred of discipline or purpose, imposing confiscatory tax on successful entrepreneurs and businesses, has ended sovereignty of the border, has completely bungled our national security policies with a catastrophic withdrawal from Afghanistan and always falling a few steps behind Vladimir Putin in the Ukraine. And it believes in global governance rather than American first. So, we have a modern-day bill of attainder against an absolutist government. And I think Thomas Jefferson and the founders would be very proud. They would know that America will find the best ways to restore life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There will be a return to our freedoms, our free enterprise, our decency, and our traditional values. That's what will make America work again. And this is a fight worth making and a fight worth winning. And after all, that's what July 4th is all about. That's what the Declaration of Independence is all about. That's my riff.